As we were driving down to historic Colonial Williamsburg, we stopped at Bluff, Battlefield, Winery, and Event Center. And oh my gosh, stuff, museum ish place near Williamsburg. That's our charcuterie board. You might have missed it. It was very tasty. But they had all this stuff. I was like, wow, this place is a winery and event center. People have weddings here. That must be wild. And the place is huge. Once we get out of the museum stuff, you'll see that the place is huge. Civil War reenactment in the States is bigger than all other reenactment groups combined. If you become a reenactor on the East Coast, people will assume you mean Civil War. They will ask you gray or blue. They will look at you funny. They will wonder if you're a gun nut. Yeah. So sometimes it gets a little awkward. Good grief, the size of these cannon shell things. It is a lot of guns and buttons, isn't it? I've been to a couple of Civil War reenactment battles. They seem nice. I haven't really gotten into it. I certainly don't know enough about it to talk trivia. You know, you don't have to know a whole bunch of stuff to become a reenactor, actually. People tend to ask the same questions over and over again, and they just assume that you're going to answer the same questions over and over again. It's not like the reenactors quiz each other. And I always expect it. I always think, oh yeah, they're going to ask me, questions to see if I know my stuff. But it really doesn't happen like that. And maybe it should. Maybe if I were with a different group of people, it would. I don't know. I'm a bit distracted by how Civil War time was also Victorian time and cowboy time. It's like, I feel like I need to know everything. I feel like I need to know where everybody was. I feel like I need to know all the sewing, what everything was made of. There was a lot of whaling during that time period, I believe. The big clipper ships were around, but not so much the pirates. It was more the British Empire was beginning to rise, and the Americans also had their navy, and so and the Canadians too. I mean, talk about the War of 1812, and then after that, big ships, lots of sailing. The medical stuff. I should be talking about what I see on screen. Those just look like tuna cans. I don't know what that is. Little pouches, stuff. There were a couple of buttons that had the pelican in her piety, which was interesting to see on a Civil War thing, but maybe it's totally common. I mean, it was on several. But the writing kit. It looks like vampire hunting gear to me, and maybe I will never stop being a complete and utter nerd. I just expect people to be role players, and I get the impression that Civil War guys are, if they're not gun nuts, then they're completely ordinary people who just like to dress up and appreciate history. They're not as nerdy as SCA people are. And Revolutionary War people, oh my gosh, don't get me started. All the crazy stuff that people get into. Civil War guys seem to be a lot more mundane. But maybe if I spent more time with them, I'd find out that's not true. Yay, buttons that were actually dug up on site. Once again, this is Bluff, near the battlefield. I said it was Bluff Battlefield Winery. I'm just going for the alliteration. The wine was good too. It was a little bit on the sweeter side for us. I mean, I like it in the summertime, especially. I like a nice, refreshing kind of white wine. And I didn't even taste the red wine, so they must have been okay, because if they were lousy, my husband would have tried to share. Maybe. I don't remember if he said they were too fruit forward. They seemed to like him. It was a good stop. Such a long drive. Oh, and there was more stuff behind that door. And apparently that's like a secret tour area. But the door wasn't open. And then vast tracts of land outside with these tents. And there was like a pizza shack where a guy was making pizzas, but you had to download an app to get the pizza. So we just went with the charcuterie board. Because we were like, I don't want to download an app. No. Signboards explaining all the things. This was about a retreat and people being a bit disreputable. So the history was like nice and colorful. This was a root cellar. You know, I love a good root cellar. I'm going to come back with a magic eraser and clean that sign. I will, maybe one day. Yeah. I love root cellars. I love ice. You know, places where they stored ice houses. And look at this fantastic bug. That's a leaf bug right there. That guy jumped several feet. It's very nice. And I think next is the stage. Yep. Can't go in there. It would have been nice and cold. The day was already progressing toward 100 degrees. This is the stage. You could have cooked eggs on those stones. It was so hot. And some of these ruins weren't real ruins, or it was a little confusing. And then we were back on the road. Oh, God. Virginia, please plant more trees. And here's Williamsburg when we finally got there. I didn't include these clips in the Williamsburg video, but waste not, want not. I don't know why I didn't include them. I just didn't. It was getting to be toward dusk. The people were in costume, very enthusiastic. It was nice. A lot of kids still running around. People bringing their dogs, and their dogs were just cooking on the pavement. Oh, poor dogs. I don't mean hot dogs. I mean like, canine dogs. Really feel sorry for, bring your parrot, bring your iguana, your tropical animal. Leave your dog at home in the air conditioning. Your poor dog. Crazy tourist people. Well, we were tourists too, but you know what I mean. When you're a reenactor going to a historical site, are you ever really a tourist? Oh, Williamsburg. I'll tell you later.